everyone.
Hi.
Daniella Rabbani, and listen, I'm going to try and keep my cool. You're going to message me and let me know if I fangirled too hard or too little or just the right amount. And you're going to keep me real because I know you do. I'm with the icon that is Jill Kargman.
Oh my God, please.
And last night I was with my friend Melissa Rosenfield. Maybe you know her. She's been on the show. And I told her that you're coming on, and I blushed just the same way I am now if you're watching the video. And she was like we throw around the word icon all the time, but Jill actually is an icon.
Oh my God.
You've sustained like decades-long career as a writer, 12 books under your belt.
Yeah.
The most hilarious show on Bravo that Bravo has ever produced, in my opinion. I'm not a big Housewives person, so.
Well, it was their only scripted comedy, so it's not like I had competition.
It's perfect. Odd Mom Out is literally perfect. I watched the pilot and I recognized Alana Becker.
Oh yeah,
Aaron Costaganis.
Yeah, we had a really good cast. We had a great casting director, Cindy Tolan, and we just had a lot of fun. I mean, everyone was cool.
MB. From
Soul Cycle.
That was niche, and I was there for it.
That show was really based on me when I was 28, and I had never exercised until like 30, like my mid-30s, when like my body started changing and stuff after shitting out 3 kids. And I just, it was such a cult, and I was dragged by friends, forced.
It was such a cult.
And then I got into it. I feel like moms of young kids don't have that moment to just be with like blaring music, you know, like no one's going clubbing. So it just felt like dark, and now I wouldn't do it. I haven't done it in many, many years, but it served a purpose for that chapter in my life.
That scene killed me, and the fact that you were
that was
so
basically
sore.
Me on my first one. I said, we're gonna need like a yellow body bag that says "Lost Soul," and zip me up in it, because I was in over my head.
It's Soul Cycle.
Yeah. The first time, the first
intense.
bunch of times, it was really too much for me.
It was a lot.
But then I got into it. I liked it for a while. But now my kids are grown up and, out of the house. I like to just take walks. I do other shit now. But that definitely served a purpose in my early motherhood years.
I have to say, for anyone listening who has young children, go watch Odd Mom Out on Peacock right now. I paid for it. I paid for it on Amazon like a dummy. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's free.
It's fucking free on Peacock. Yeah. I mean, you have to pay the Peacock subscription, but like.
No, I watched Conclave the other night free with commercials.
How? On Peacock?
Yeah, Peacock, there's 2 levels. Like if you don't mind commercials, it's free. And if you want to pay to not have commercials, then you can whatever.
I grew up in the 90s. I'm fine with commercials.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. It's my pee break. I have the world's smallest bladder.
We're actually going to take an interpission.
Interpission is Daniella's word, and it's hilarious because my bladder's the size of an edamame.
But you hydrate, and we're proud of you for that.
Thank you.
We really are.
Thank you.
Hey, Jill, do you want to introduce yourself today? Who are you now? You're
hi.
such a different woman than the lady who did Odd Mom Out, starred in it, created it.
I am.
I don't know. Are you?
Well, that show is based on younger me. Now I feel like I had a really strong sort of sense of self before I had kids, and then it kind of shakes the Etch-a-Sketch. Like you kind of are reborn and rebooted when your kids come, and you have a vulnerability that you didn't have before. And so that show is like very fish out of water. And I'm from New York, and I still felt like a fish out of water as a new mom. Whereas now I don't give a shit. Like I don't give a shit about that stuff. But even if you think of yourself as impenetrable and have emotional armor and you're not going to get swept up in anything, when you have a baby, you just are so desperate to give it, he, she, them, everything that you can. And so if you feel like you're not doing everything right, it can be really isolating and weird. And so I definitely felt that the first year or 2 of Sadie's life. And I didn't have any friends. My friends were like dancing on tables at Bungalow 8 and like blowing auto mechanics. Like I was the only one of my friends at 28 with a kid. So I was with these women who seemed really cliquey, and it was kind of that middle school feeling of this is what you do, and then we do this, and then we do this. And so I kind of like, all right, I'll sign her up for ballet, I guess. She is still shitting her Huggies, but okay. And I just did all the things. And that's sort of where the show was born, was the otherness. But I'm really glad. I wouldn't have wanted to do it any other way. Like, I feel like I was sort of stumbling around in the dark a little bit, but everything turned out well. And I do feel like, to any young moms listening, don't listen to those cunts who are like, little kids, little problems. It gets way harder. That's not true. I have an awesome time with my older kids, and I had found it way harder just being really tired. I was tired for 11 years as a stay-at-home mom, and I would just cry because I was so tired.
You were a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah.
But
I wrote the books.
Write all those books?
Like, I wrote when they were napping and shit.
But you're like a really good writer, so that you
No, I just like, men have the luxury. I would hear about people being like, writer's block and all this stuff. I was like, what's that? I have to flip a switch in my ass. I have 2 hours to shit out a chapter or whatever it was. Like, writer's block was not like a luxury. Also, let's be real. Like, I'm not writing the great American novel. This is like mom lit, gossip lit, like Upper East Side bubblegum. It's meant to be popcorn. I wasn't seeking a Pulitzer Prize or anything. And a couple people like from Yale who were writers, and I was an art history major. I wasn't even an English major, but people had written like, you're a sellout online. I was like, what? Well, I don't care. By the way, it's kind of hard to sell out. If you want to sell out, it's not that easy. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it. So it's just like, go fuck yourself. But you know what? I wasn't that, again, like SoulCycle, writing books served a purpose, because I feel like with 3 kids under 4, I didn't get to be alone. Someone's always pawing you. Someone always needs something. And so writing was like probably my therapy to just be alone, because you're never fucking alone.
No.
And so then when my kids grew up and left, and I had a writer's room and Odd Mom Out, and I freelanced at MTV for 5 years, but I was like, wait a minute, I miss people. I want to be with people again. I mean, I hate most people right now, to be real, but
except for me and Johan.
Except for you guys.
Yeah.
And a few people who are like
listening
in that vagina inside of the Venn diagram of like centrist politics, pro-Israel, but also don't want like forced births for 12-year-olds. But
yeah.
Anyway, I feel like I really love being with people now, and in a work context. Like, the thought of writing a book is depressing to me. Like, I'll never write another book probably.
Really?
Yeah, I write for Airmail. I'm a editor there, and I get to just write essays, but it's like way too much time alone if you're writing a book, which I needed in my 30s. But now I feel like I like going to a set. I like being in a writer's room or collaborating with people. It just feels more electrifying, because I have a lot of alone time, and I sleep 9 hours a night now instead of like sleep deprivation of young moms. Okay, Daniella's closing her eyes like, wouldn't that be nice? But it's coming for you, I promise. Yeah. You get your sleep back. You do.
No, it's just so beautiful for you to articulate the experience of being an artist and a mother. And like,
you're so funny. I don't think of myself as an artist, but
are you crazy? You wrote 12 books because you shat out books because you had something to say.
Artist. Well,
you're so artful. What about like your TV show, the film that you're producing, and are you acting in it also?
Yeah, I'm acting in it.
This is an artful life. Also, the fact that like
I never think of myself as that. I actually cringe when I see people in interviews being like, as an artist, I just want to say, I'm like, ew.
I'm calling you an artist, but you don't have to call yourself an artist. Is that better? Is that okay?
That's fine.
That's allowed. I'm still in the Venn diagram. Whew. It's just like, it's important to hear for me as a person who like loves being with my kids. I love them so much.
I love it so much. There's nothing better, but it was tiring.
Yeah, your underwear parties, like, they resonate. Like, I want to have fun with them, and they like exhaust the hell out of me.
Yeah, but it's pay now or pay later. The people who farmed that out and had like all of Manila in their townhouse and were like never with those kids, those are the kids who are the pain in the ass teenagers who are like, fuck you, bitch, and slamming the door. My kids never did that with me. And what's weird is I have 2 girls and a boy, and everyone is so sexist that during the pandemic, everyone was like, ooh, poor you. You have 2 teenage girls in the house. I was like, we're fine. They're totally fine. Because I feel like, by the way, if anybody had mood swings, it was my son. It wasn't my girls. Like, he was the first one to slam a door. And I was like, oh, so we don't do that in this house? You know what I mean? So It's like everyone just assumes things.
I have a little boy also, and he is the smushiest. Mine
was smushy when he was little.
Yeah, and then he got unsmushy. He's also people always say like, oh, the little boys like they love their moms so much, and from a very young age he always preferred my husband. Not like the first 1.5 years, but by the time my daughter was born, he was like, you know what, fuck you. I'm like happy to be with dad. And I just think like people overgeneralize in terms of gender. It's
everyone brings so much
of their own shit.
Yeah. After having 2 girls, and I wanted a boy because I knew Harry wanted a boy, but I felt like it would be different and weird, even though I think I'm a better girl mom because I'm not like, yay, soccer, like I don't. But so I decided.
But someone is. Harry
I'm not
is
doing any of that shit. Like I gave him a Barbie doll to play with, and he spread her legs and turned it into a gun and started shooting her. And I was like, all right, well that shit's hardwired. You know?
It's interesting. I have a friend who's non-binary who says like gender's a thing, unless it's not a thing sometimes. For the most part,
some people are hardwired. Yeah, where it's just they. Believe me, I would have loved Fletch to be gay. I'd be the best gay mom.
Oh,
you know?
That is
but
actually true.
I feel like he was, as a baby, a waitress was reciting the specials with her huge boobs out, and he was just like a string of drool was coming out.
Fletch.
Yeah,
How
as
old
a
is he
baby, 17.
Oh, so he's going to college next year.
No, he's a junior. He's like old for his.
Oh.
Yeah, like he'll be 18 in the fall, starting in October, starting senior year.
Is it? He's the last one in the house.
Last one. Aww. But my big one will be back. So, I mean, she probably won't live with us. She'll have like roommates and do the New York college grad thing, but she'll be home a lot. Trust me. This kid she comes home a lot from college. And
can you tell me about your family life growing up? Like, were you a close-knit family
really
even
close-knit?
Then?
Yes.
Because you're so family-oriented, even being as iconic as you are.
I'm
you know?
very, very lucky. I feel like my family of origin is well, I lost my dad in October, which was devastating.
I'm sorry. I read
it was
that,
so hard and continues to be so hard. Like I just started crying last night because I saw a video pop up. You know, your iPhone will like serve you a thing, and it was just so cute, and I miss his humor so much. And sometimes it's so weird, even though I have an amazing grief counselor, nice Jewish mother, Barry Lerner Grant. I talk to her every couple weeks, and she's been like a lifeline through all of this. But, you know, it doesn't really go away. It goes from this acute stabbing grief to almost like this bittersweet where I frame it. And I'm just so lucky that he was my dad. And, you know, I just feel so, his memories are always with me. It's hard for me, I think, compared to some of my friends who have buried parents because I'm not spiritual. So people keep saying like, has he spoken to you in your dreams? Or have you sensed him yet? Or seen a cardinal or some bullshit? And I'm like, yeah, he didn't believe in that and neither do I. And if it works for you and it's comforting, great. But I think you have to be open to it for it to like visit you or something. But my dad was very like, okay, you die and you get cremated and that's it. So that's sort of how I was raised, even though I'm super Jewish.
That's the most Jewish thing, to be atheist or to be agnostic, to be questioning.
My mom's Orthodox. And she escaped orthodoxy.
Yeah.
She was sitting upstairs in the whole kosher home and all that. And my dad was like dunking lobster into butter at 5 years old in Massachusetts. So they're very different.
Yeah.
They met on the roof of the Metropolitan Museum. And I think both of them, though my dad dated like a lot of shiksa goddesses, they were seeking a Jewish spouse. And so I was raised like in a Jewish household, non-kosher. We joined Central Synagogue, where I went to Hebrew school and got bat mitzvahed. But there was always, I think, you know, you mentioned with your liquid death water that you gave me, that I'm obsessed with death. And it is the name of one of my books, Sprinkle Glitter on My Grave. And it's more that I just don't, it's not some taboo topic from my childhood. We always talked about it. I mean, my dad would get on planes and be like, hopefully this pig won't blow. And I'd be like, Dad, stop it. But they were, you know, my mom's side is Holocaust survivors from France. They were in hiding the entire war. Like a lot of her uncles were murdered. Like there's all kinds of crazy like baggage on the European side. The American side, my dad's side that was here for ages and ages. They're like a Boolean base of genes from Holland, Germany, and Lithuania.
Wow.
But they were here for a long time. But so I was raised in this house that had very Jewish values, but very much that sort of like, we always did Kaddish for my grandparents. Like it was very, very
traditional,
but not praying to God per se. But
I love that about Judaism, actually. I love that, like, we have a connection to our ancestors, to ritual, to song, to story.
Humor. That's our number one. Love of food, love of family.
I mean, that is spiritual to me.
It is. Ritual is spiritual. There is something about that. That's exactly right. And that's what I've tried to do with my kids. And they would like bitch and moan about Hebrew school and all that. But like when we went to Israel, we went for 3 weeks, and I feel like they came back so connected to it, whereas I hadn't been to Israel at that age. I didn't go until I went with them.
Wow.
And this was just before the pandemic in August of 2019 till early September. And I'm really glad we did that trip. Well, 2 of them were bar mitzvahed in Hebrew Union College.
That's
B'nai
amazing.
mitzvahed in the gardens.
Are they
it
twins?
was beautiful. No, they're Irish twins. They're 1 year apart.
Oh my God, that's a lot of work for you.
They're 14 months apart. I had a miscarriage that the birthday would have been 12 months apart.
Wow.
I know.
You and Harry getting down.
Get off of her.
Whoa.
No, I'm kidding.
Harry!
Slow down.
Good for you, dude. We're all like, good for you.
Yeah, well, that one was running down my leg in Miami in a hotel, and I was like, oh shit. And I had like Smucker's jelly in the toilet. It was horrible.
Sorry.
But then
that happens. Fine. I know.
Everyone, it's almost, I actually see that as like a blessing, and not God per
it's
se,
biology.
but nature. It's Darwinism. Like, you know?
Yeah, like this one, actually, let's let this one run its course right now.
Totally. I cried for 5 minutes, and then I opened a bottle of wine in the restaurant and was fine.
Yeah, I had a similar experience with a miscarriage that like I wasn't connected to that life or the potential life at all. But hormonally, I felt very weird.
Yeah, I felt weird. That's where
I had this drive to like make a baby after that, which I did not have that before.
I didn't have that one. So the miscarriage one was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't even know if I wanted a third. P.S. Like Harry wanted 4 and I wanted 2. And then I got pregnant with
Harry
the third.
Just wants
lost
to fuck you.
it.
I mean,
no. His mom always said she regrets not having a 4th. And so I was like, that's nice. But I was sad for a minute, and then I was like, okay, yeah, like I could do a third, because I wasn't panicking when I was accidentally pregnant. I was like, okay, this is kind of exciting and fun.
It could be okay.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed motherhood enough that you were like, I could be in this for.
Well, I couldn't have a 4th. I had a scare in my early 40s where I would have gotten an abortion. And Harry was like, no way. Like, we make good product. We're having this baby. And I was like, Harry. No, we're not. Like, I'm not starting all over, you know, and then Sadie's going to be 17 and won't know the kid, you know.
That you got
I didn't. It was like a chemical. I had a pregnancy test that was positive, and then I got my period like 5 minutes later. I never even did the blood test.
Yeah. I had a moment also after our second where I thought I was pregnant, and Dan was like, you better get that shit at you. And I'm like, wait, no, we make good product. I want to keep this thing. It was a fight for no reason. I wasn't pregnant, but it's an interesting moment where you're like, wow, where could things go if we keep,
my friend just had an abortion at 50.
Oh, how did it feel?
I think she was fine with it. Like, her kids are in college. She's not starting over. It's 50. And also her doctor was like, you know, because I don't like use birth control anymore, and
I never
my doctor
could.
was
I'm like we're just pulling out and like praying.
Well,
we're praying really hard.
Yeah. Well, my doctor said every year she has a 50-year-old get an abortion, get pregnant, and get an abortion.
Yeah, because 50-year-olds are still fertile.
Not
really.
all
50-year-olds.
No, that's like a miracle baby. I mean, I have like cobwebs on my uterus.
I mean, fingers crossed, so do I. I don't want any more. No thanks.
Yeah, but you're young.
Well, I'm still fingers crossed.
You know what
dream.
they use? People who use the pull-out method.
What do they call
Parents.
Don't tell me that. I'm really trying to get Dan to do a vasectomy, actually.
Okay, I begged Harry, and he just wouldn't do it. He was like, no. And then his friend was like, dude.
Why?
Well, the dumb friend who like had some fraternity dog that got snipped, and then his personality changed. I'm
changed.
I'm like, that's not what a vasectomy is, you dipshit. Like, spaying and neutering is not. They're like flipping a switch in there. He wouldn't do it. He refused. And I was raging because I was like, I had 3 vaginal births. I like busted my box. It was horrible. I'm not one of those people that was like, I felt beautiful pregnant. I felt so sexual. No, I felt like ass. My fingers were kielbasas. I was Ms. I had like roids and Harper and
the
was
hemorrhoids
like,
were terrible.
Terrible. And Harry, I was like, I went
hated
through
not
all
being
this.
able to
The
shit.
least you can do is get a fucking snip. And he just wouldn't do it.
And I want to tell the listener that I saw you and Harry together and you love each other very much. So don't worry, guys.
No,
she isn't holding this against
I have
him.
a really, really
She has
menschy
cobwebs
husband. He's
in
the
her vagina.
sweetest. He's the best husband ever.
But
he would
loves you.
not. That's the one thing. There are a couple things about him that are a little.
Should we list them all?
Well,
no, we don't have to do this. Dan is going to get a vasectomy tomorrow, I'm hoping. He's
Your
going to
husband?
the doctor tomorrow.
You're
but
kidding?
now I'm
For like a
nervous.
consult?
Yeah, but now I'm nervous that he's going to change his personality. He's perfect.
It doesn't. It's not. They're not
You're
dogs
making
getting
me really
their balls
nervous.
snipped.
It does hurt a little, but it doesn't hurt as much as like
Birth. How about like a head coming out of your box?
whole people
Yeah.
coming out of me.
No, it's so crazy.
And then walking around.
No, it's bad shit.
And
What we
also
go
they
through.
tried to like breastfeed, and let me just tell you
I
that didn't
do
work
that.
out well
No, I'm
either.
a bottle feeder. Diehard bottle feeder.
I tried so hard to breastfeed, and then the
I
bottle
didn't.
they needed food. Like there was no food coming out of me.
Yeah, I'm a bottle person.
Yeah, and they're perfect.
This bitch came up to me and grabbed my boobs when Fletch was maybe like 4 months old and was like, how's the nursing going?
Ew.
And I was like, oh, I don't nurse. I'm a bottle feeder. I only nurse Sadie. I bottle fed the other two. And she goes, shame on you.
Shame on her.
You know how they say mom shaming? She literally said, shame on you. I was on 66 and Lex. I was in shock. I felt like someone punched me in the face. And I go, excuse me? And she goes, well, I mean, there's just studies that have proven there are proteins that are better for firing your brain synapses as a baby, and it makes smarter kids.
I had that person in my head for years, for both of my children. I have a thyroid condition and polycystic ovaries and like the shape of my breast, blah, blah, blah. There was nothing coming out. And the amount of trying, there was no amount of trying that could make food come out of my boobs. And there was that woman essentially in my head for years. Fuck her.
Yeah, fuck these people. I mean, honestly, because I also had an autoimmune thyroid condition that after I'd Sadie was so bad that my doctor's like, I don't think you can have more kids. And I was really sad for a little bit. And then I was like, you know what? I'm so lucky I got one. There are people who can't have kids at all.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I have this one. And then 3 years later, I had IV. And I got to say, I never took it for granted and I felt so lucky, but there was something about the experience of I don't know. Well, anyway, so I was on Synthroid and I didn't want to put that in my kid anyway, but I was just like not into nursing.
Yeah.
Sadie. I only nursed for like 8 weeks and I burned down
Good job, Mommy.
I was sterilizing the bottle, the pump, and I almost burned down our whole kitchen. So I was like, okay, that's the end of that.
That's a sign. It's
the
a sign.
whole breast pump turned into like a Frisbee at the bottom of the pot. Yeah.
That's a sign. It's like it's over.
Yeah. The sign is that like I forgot about it while I was like cleaning, trying to get the onesies, get everything, have SpongeBob in the back. Like I was a hot mess.
But you were saying that your mom also was very like there for you.
Oh yeah.
The way you were like, I'm listening to your stories and I'm like, you were in the trenches. There are people who like literally,
No, my mom was way more in the
baby.
trenches because
she was more in the trenches.
More in the trenches. So I had a housekeeper by the time I had Fletch. And like she never had a housekeeper. Like she wanted no one in the house. My mom's really weird about this. She doesn't want people in her space. Still. She is like cleaning her whole house by herself.
No.
Cooks everything. She cooked every meal that I ate as a child. There was no like ordering in shit. Like maybe my dad, we'd get like Chinese and watch Murder, She Wrote on Sundays. But my mom was with oven mitts, like chopping vegetables, doing all that shit. Whereas I don't do that.
I can't do that.
No, I can't.
My mom is like that also. She's the best, but I just don't have those skills.
I don't do that. And my mom spent all this time and then we'd wolf it down in 11 minutes. So she did everything. It was delicious.
Oh.
She's a talented chef.
Great job, Mommy.
I am not. I don't have the patience. No, I have a brother who's 3 years younger who also has girl, boy like me.
Cute.
And lives in New York. And I have also indoctrinated my children, as my parents did me, that all other cities feel like small when you're from New York. And
because
so they're
that's
all
true.
going to be here. I know.
I mean, that's just the truth. Like Boston? I mean,
if it's like
that's such a
8:45,
silly-
we sat in a table and they said, kitchen's closing, you got to put in your order. Like,
No.
what in the red state rectangle is that horseshit?
It's horseshit. No, we live in the best city
By the
in
way,
world.
when you're a young mom,
Mm.
of course you're not going out like all night. But if you're up with like that middle of the night baby moment, I think it's so much lonelier to be in a quiet. Like, I like that the city doesn't sleep. And even though I'm not going to be out, I liked knowing other people were up.
Well, my husband grew up on the Upper East Side, actually. He went to Horseman. And when we go to Long Island in the summers, he's so freaked out by the sirens.
I'm freaked out.
He's grossed out.
I'd rather have
He's
sirens than
freaked
crickets.
out. He's like, he's just like, something terrible can happen. And I'm like, it's called
That's
nature.
me. No, that's
This
me.
is-
I feel like Jason's going to come out with like a chainsaw.
Yeah. The crickets really like,
I hate the crickets.
they instill like the fear of God
They're
into this
so
man.
deafening sometimes. It's like they're mating
screaming.
calls, so they're like hoarse. Like
Yeah.
those sluts are out for it. And I was just like, get me back home. I can't deal. I really would rather have sirens. And then I'd rather die of, like terrorism than die of boredom.
Terrorism.
Or whatever I'm
Than
going to die
boredom?
from, a gunshot. I'd rather do that than die of boredom.
Yeah.
Go
I
out with
could
him.
not live in the suburbs for a million reasons, one of which is because I can't drive.
Me neither.
So
I don't
like,
drive.
I would just stay in place. Like even like LA.
The weirdest thing though about like that whole cul-de-sac life is a friend of mine moved to Greenwich and of course is like, it's only 30 minutes. I'm like, bitch, it's not. Like, let's be real.
They
And
say
then
that a lot.
Everyone says
Yeah.
it's 20 minutes.
I
It's like,
bless them. I love you all, suburban
no,
mommies.
it's not 20 minutes.
But
Nothing's
it's
20
not.
minutes.
We're just calling you out right now.
We're
That's
calling
the
you out.
truth.
So my friend was so weirded out. She had just moved from the city and someone at her school was like, I didn't know that you know Jenny. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, I saw her car in your driveway.
Ew.
And I needed like a full Silkwood shower. That was so violating and creepy. Horrifying. Like, I would lose my
In the
mind if people are
driveway?
keeping tabs. Well, they know your car.
Oh, they like know your license plate?
They know
what
like
kind-
the make and build and your like Greenwich Country Day sticker.
Well, I feel like the Odd Mom Out experience was a little bit, it gave a little bit of the cliquey suburban mommy versus the like more, I don't know, chic urban, for me, Jewish mom.
I feel like, so my school wasn't Jewish. It was actually pretty waspy, but there were some Jews. It's not like segregated or anything. But the cliquey stuff, it wasn't mean cliquey at all. I felt like it was more just people, a lot of the moms were working and then the sort of stay-at-home moms would have more time to do lunches. And I was kind of in this bizarre career purgatory where I was a double agent, where the working moms thought of me as one of them and the stay-at-home moms thought of me as one of them. And
Everyone
both sides
wants to claim you, Joe.
No.
I'm sorry.
They want it. What they want to do, they don't want to claim me. They want to bash the other side to make themselves feel better. So some of the working moms would say like, "Oh, these stay-at-home moms are so pathetic with their trunk shows and their shopping. Like, it's so lame." And then the stay-at-home moms would say, "God, those moms on Wall Street are missing everything. They're not at the playground with us." Do you know what I'm saying?
I
So,
really
and I
do.
was the repository for all of this.
I also live in what my friend Neha Roosh calls the gray area of
Right.
motherhood.
It wasn't them wanting to claim me. It was really venting or wanting to tell themselves something and have a pair of ears.
And then what would you say, though? Would you defend the other side?
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, all three areas of motherhood and every, like, degree in between, like, has merit. And
That's
also,
exactly right.
you
And
know, it's
whatever
like-
works for your family.
If
and
you need
also
to raise-
fuck
if you-
off and don't judge people.
mostly fuck off. But I do feel like with the working mom, I'm not like a fully working mom, but I will say that like the idea of like, you know, a stay-at-home mom saying to a working mom, you're missing everything. It's like someone's got to put food on the table. Like someone has to
it's
pay
such-
for this child's
hashtag privilege.
education.
Exactly.
You know, like what are you talking about?
Right.
Like if maybe if I could, I would, but maybe not. Also, I would lose my temper if I was only home with. I did lose my temper when I was only home with my kids, and like they didn't deserve that. They needed me to have like a fully
Yeah, I think it made me a
realized
better mom
self.
to have other. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing now?
So now I'm in post-production on my movie. It's been really fun and interesting, but I'm ready to be like moving on to the next thing because
Yes.
post-production, it's farming it out. So I have like there's the company, this amazing graphics company, and Walsh is doing all our opening and closing credits. The movie's called Influenced. It's about an influencer who's miserable.
Nice.
Who's a mom. And
is that you?
Who's from Long Island. Yeah,
Great.
Danielle.
You're Danielle?
Danielle.
Okay.
I'm Danielle.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
And
you're such a great actress.
You're so nice.
No,
I mean,
I just love watching you on screen. Am I kissing the ass? I should stop. I'm talking straight to you, dear listener.
You're being so
kind.
I
do really like watching. Really do watch. Because I don't think of you as an actress. Actually, I think of you as a writer.
Same.
So when I watch you, you know how you're like, I'm like watching and I'm like enjoying, and then I think to myself, she's a really good actress. Like, this is really, like, she's really good at this.
Well, I mean, honestly, Odd Mom Out's like a version of myself. So
yeah, but that's hard. That's actually still hard to do because like not everyone's comfortable being themselves. I'm
very comfortable being myself, but it's weird when I mean, I started acting at 39.
My God.
I mean, I was always in plays in college.
Did you hear that, guys? That's important to hear.
Yeah, it's never too late to like
do your thing.
Yeah, shake the edge of sketch.
39.
One thought that I do want to share on that topic is that when I was home with the kids, I was so like tired, and I'm not saying all women feel this way. I want a woman president. But sometimes I felt dumb, like I had placenta brain just because I was so tired. And my darkest fear over my shoulder was like, if you can't even get through your day doing nothing and just like feeding them lunch and doing a bath, how could you ever hold a job again? And what happened, and what the truth is once you're with adults again, your brain is stimulated and you rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
Don't judge yourself by how you feel on the living room carpet with toys everywhere, because of course that saps your energy and makes you feel like you're not astute enough to be in a meeting and meet the adults' challenges where they are. Like, that is just not true.
Thank you for saying that. I felt like you were only telling me that.
No, I had to tell it. I wish someone had told me that, because I thought, like, how can I go back? I can barely get through my days here. And I have nothing to show for it. I mean, it's
you have like 3 gorgeous children.
No, but you don't have a certificate,
and no one's giving you an award. Literally, no one. No one's like reviewing you.
Well, that
in
was
the Times.
The point.
Great, like playing skills, mommy.
Which is why so many women create yardsticks to ascend, so they can beat everyone else. They have to create their own award system to say, my kid's walking or talking or speaking Mandarin or doing this or that, because they need that validation. Whereas I didn't really feel like I needed that.
Because you had your own thing?
No, because I just knew that kids have different levels of, it's not a race. Like Harry was a late bloomer and, did great. Like it's just not something where you have to beat everyone. And then I also knew, seeing some women where they had their 4th and it was my 1st, I got like that keyhole into older parenting. You kind of like look at the 2.0 moms, and some of them who were those helicopter controlling people, I think that can backfire too.
It did for me. I was helicoptering my son, and he was just like, really fuck off. Like as a little baby, he's like this little genius. And I was like, wow, we got to teach him Hebrew. We got to teach him Spanish. He loves the cello. Let's do the cello. And it's like, leave me alone. Like, let me just be. So he would just like want to be with my husband. And I missed him so much that I had to really grapple with like, I had to say like, what was that? What did I do to push him away? I thought I was honoring his gifts, but I was also pushing a little
You're
kid.
such a good mother to have that self-awareness.
It was very painful.
So many people don't have that confidence to explore that, and they just keep doing
the thing
over and over again.
Well, I did the exact opposite with my daughter, and let's see how that works out.
Free range. She's on the subway right now.
She's just like peeing her pants, but she loves me.
So cute.
Because I leave her alone. I just let her be. There's got to be an in between, but for sure, their accomplishments have nothing to do with you. Like, they're human beings, I think.
You're custodian and you like shepherd them, but they're on their own. I mean, you can't have your ego wrapped up in them. That's too much pressure for them.
Yeah. Okay, you were telling me about your film though.
Oh,
you play an influencer,
Danielle, and it's very like Jewishy and funny, and I really like it. It's the best thing I've done. I feel like if you liked Odd Mom Out, you'd really like this, because I had the guardrails of a network and advertisers, and I can't piss people off when you're on television. Whereas a film, it's like it will find its niche, it will find its people, but it feels more like the balsamic reduction of myself.
I love that so much. You were saying that it culminates in a b'nai mitzvah?
Yes. I have in the movie I have boy-girl twins, and it ends in a b'nai mitzvah. But the kind of twist is like I'm influencing all these people and the character's really unhappy. So you see there's going to be Instagrams like through the whole thing threaded. And so this company is building the Instagrams.
Oh, great.
And so you see the disconnect between what is being posted and what reality is.
This is an important film.
Well, slow down.
But we don't do important.
Pump
we do
the brakes, Daniella.
We do popcorn.
We do fun.
We do fun.
Not trying to be important.
I think fun is important.
It's 92 minutes. You can watch it as a mom and not be exhausted. But
you're saying that it's niche. But you were saying earlier.
I don't, it's funny. I think of all my stuff as niche because I'm not like tap dancing to the, I'm not trying to do like a tent pole picture that's going to make $100 million. I'm just trying to do what's like clawing its way out of me. So it's very Upper East Side, New York. But what I have learned through social media, which of course has its nefarious, obvious sides, is that people do have a keyhole into other people's lives, which I like. I like seeing my kids' friends' lives. And
you follow your kids' friends?
Well, not when they were little, but now, she's 22. So her friends are my friends.
Right.
Yeah, like I love her friend.
And they love you?
Yeah, like I love my two girls. I feel really close to their friends. Fletch, I feel like I'm more of probably that adult in Charlie Brown that's like, wah, wah. I'm more the mom. But I think once they go to college and all that changes because I have two in college. So when they bring home their friends and we all have dinner all the time. We're traveling with these people. Like one is coming with us this weekend.
That's so cool.
I feel very connected to them, but it has to happen organically over time. Whereas my son's still in high school. Like there are boys over at my house, but I'm not sitting and talking to them for hours or anything.
I don't think we ever will be
in college.
Sitting and talking to our boys. I don't think they don't talk. Like they're not.
Well, in college,
maybe some of them do.
I think in college, because my daughter's friends who are guys, who I've gotten to know, I love, but I don't. Right now, Fletch's friends are still like in that rowdy teenager mode. If it doesn't feel as much, they're all going to their thing and they're more like passing through, or they're all watching the Super Bowl in my house and I just pass through the living room and go upstairs. But it's not. I'm not there yet with that age, but. I don't know. Yeah, I follow my kids' friends for sure, and people that I wouldn't necessarily see socially, but I'll bump into them and be like, "How is Sicily?" It's just there's something connecting about it that I like.
I don't think that you and I would know each other if it weren't for social media, right? Like, we met
at a dinner party.
That was a real dinner party.
It was
actually.
really fun.
That was really cute.
I know.
But I think all the people there who brought the people there, they know each other because of social media.
I didn't even know Hen because Hen Mazig introduced us, right? For Jessica Seinfeld. But I honestly feel like I don't know who those people are, but I just felt cozy that everyone was Jewish. No, I knew them, those two.
Well, yes.
I didn't know Hen and Jessica had introduced, but I just felt cozy being in that room. It felt like
it was nice.
Yeah.
I felt proud. I planned it at the Golden Swan. It was a really nice place. If anyone's in New York.
Nicest owner.
Wow.
That guy was amazing.
Really amazing guy. And also the food was amazing. I can't recommend it highly enough.
Yeah, there's a private room on the top that has all the beams. It's totally Frodo Baggins chic.
But the reason why we're all connected is because of social media. Because Chen is all the way in London, and he's connected to Jessica
from that probably.
Yeah. There are great things that happen from social media. I think there is some real downsides, as we all know.
It's pronounced Chen.
Chen actually means charm in Hebrew.
Oh, cute. I was saying hen like he's laying eggs.
Also.
Okay.
But most people call him Hen.
Okay. Oops. Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm going to be in London this summer and we're going to have a drink.
Yeah, you are. So it's going to be great.
I will learn how to pronounce his name. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think most people call him Hen anyway.
I know, but I won't do it right.
Oh, Chen.
Chen.
Yeah, just like that. Actually, it was really cute. I saw it on your shirt in the pilot of Odd Mom Out that you had a chai.
Yeah, high maintenance.
High maintenance. And I was like, she's representing.
Oh, she's representing.
She's
That's
never
actually
not representing.
The most Jewy show that was, I mean, as far as I know, it's the only Yom Kippur episode.
On Bravo?
Of any, I've never seen a Yom Kippur episode where it's called Fasting and Furious.
Well, yours happened before The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, right.
Because that pilot happened on Yom Kippur. I know because I got very close to booking it. I did not book it. I'm here. But that happened on Yom Kippur.
A non-Jewish person booked it.
You know, she booked the lead, but I was talking about the manager role.
Oh, right.
She's Jewish. Yeah. And she's known Amy Sherman Palladino for a long time. And I was just some random chick who happened to get far enough to almost, but I didn't.
Well, that's good. You're on the radar for the next one.
Sure I am. That's what's happening there. But yeah, your Yom Kippur episode was the first ever.
Well, the Hasids didn't like it.
Because the Hasids don't like any of it.
No, I know. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But there's like, I'm hallucinating because I'm so hungry, and the cantor's head turns into a chicken, and then the rabbi's head turns into a pizza. They went completely shithouse.
Why?
The Satmars.
They saw it? The Satmars saw it?
Some people did. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm like, I guess they
These
snuck
are not
it
our
or
TV
something.
critics.
Believe me, I don't give a shit. When we were in Israel, we went to Tzfat, and
Beautiful.
all the Hasidics, and I was dressed. They told us, like, dress like Little House on the Prairie. I was dressed like George Washington. Like, I had a ruffly collar all the way up my neck. My dress went to the floor. And they still walked by and called us whores.
You have been a huge advocate for the Jewish community.
Of course I am. I do. And I think of us as one, but we don't vote alike. We don't treat women the same. I mean, I know that's still a generalization, but from some of the things, I just feel like it's very cloistered.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, dark turn. But yes, of course I support Jews and support Israel.
It was a dark turn, but like, that's what we're here for. Well, we're going up, we're going down, we're twisting right, we're twisting left. I wanted to talk about that beautiful article you did write about your son's experience with anti-Semitism. This was years ago already.
Yes, it was 2018. Which is weird now that it's 2025. It feels like
it was 7 years
in the
ago.
rearview mirror. Yeah, that was not an awesome year for me. I had a double mastectomy because I have like Jewish genes. I had a lump that was, quote, stage 0. Like, you don't die from it. You just get a lumpectomy. No big deal. You sleep in your own bed that night. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing a lumpectomy. Take them off. So it was the best thing I ever did. Both. I'm like a symmetry bitch. So I had the drains in. I was fine. I didn't cry. I don't like have a big identity wrap up in boobs. Like, I never called them the girls or the twins or anything like that. Like some people, I dress like very covered up. You know, I'm just not like that into my boobs. And I had really good boobs, but I didn't. Yeah. It wasn't like a big part of me. So I did the surgery, and you know, it was painful. It's not fun, but 2 days when I got home from the hospital, 2 days later, my son came home and said, a kid in his class had said, God sent Hitler to kill the Jews because you nailed Jesus to the cross, which is mentally ill and insane. And of course, the parents were like, Georgia, daughter of a Southern preacher or whatever.
Oh, this is a little girl said this?
No, it was a boy.
It was a boy.
But the mother's father was like a preacher or something. I don't even know, honestly, but they're from Georgia. And basically, the school did jack shit. They spoke to the kid and the parents, and that was it. There was no suspension or anything. And I said to the headmaster at the time, like, I'm just so confused because the grade above, someone said the N-word and was expelled. Rightfully so, in my opinion. But what's the difference? And he was like, there's a difference. And I was like, what is it? I'd love to know. And they just couldn't give me an answer. So I went to get my drains removed at Mount Sinai. Jesus. I was in terrible
drains removed? I need to.
They pull it out of your boobs. It was awful. It was awful.
We'll circle back to whatever that meant.
And I could barely carry anything. So I had a friend with me, and we went into the corner bookstore on Madison and 93rd, and I was like, where's your Nazi books? And he was like, excuse me? And he was like a cute gay guy with tattoos. And I was like, told him the story. And he's like, oh, let me help you. So we got these books about World War II and the Holocaust, and he gift wrapped them all beautifully. And I couldn't carry anything. So my friend dropped them off in their Park Avenue lobby, and with my card that said, it sounds like your family could do some reading.
Great.
And that was it. So I was getting really down at this, like, and this was already the end of the year. In like May of 2018, I was like, I can't go back. I don't care. I just cannot go back. So I called all the schools, which of course said like, yeah, your timing is not great. Like, we just finished the whole admission cycle. And then our school was like, we're creating a spot. So it was really lucky. I feel
he was 10. I just did the math. It's like
he was going into
little
6.
Kid.
Yeah, it was brutal.
I really don't want that. I mean, I'm bracing myself for that experience because it's much more prevalent now. But
but on the flip side, it's funny because, of course, when my article came out and because my show was still on the air, like people picked it up and all this crap. So, of course, in the comments, I saw some of them. I don't really pay attention to comments, but some of them were like, what a loser. Her kid was bullied and she couldn't take it. I'm like, he wasn't bullied. He was class president. And when I said to my son, why do you think he said that? And he's like, well, he ran against me for president and he lost. Maybe he was trying to say something that I couldn't say anything back. And so I was like, my son isn't bullied. Someone said this and my reaction wasn't, I'm going to get him away from a bully. It was, I'm going to get him out of a school that didn't have his back.
Good for you. I cannot believe that was 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
And so you have been privy to this, I don't know, rise in anti-Semitism for a long time.
For a long time.
Shit.
I would consider
you
that.
Knew?
I did know, but I would consider that the right-wing side. Like that was
it's like religious anti-Semitism, Christian anti-Semitism. That's a right?
Yeah. Like I did not see this part coming with the rise on the left. I live on the Upper East Side. I saw the Trumpers. I saw these particular parents were in like a clique of very Republican donors. So I saw that side coming. I did not see the left side coming and was actually super alarmed by it. I've never been like a really left-wing person.
I thought you were.
No, I'm a staunch Democrat, but I am a centrist Democrat. I don't fuck with AOC and all that because I've always felt like it's too far left. And if I'm raising my eyebrows about certain things, then the Republicans really are. And so I don't think that's where our party should be. I mean, I will always vote Democrat unless it went totally to the fringes. But I don't see that ever happening in my lifetime.
But this, like the rise on the left has been very, very, very
brutal.
I mean, so brutal. Actually, we do have a couple of questions from our Instagram.
Okay.
One was from a Jewish woman who's been really down and just wondering like how you keep your head above water with all the news. And then another woman has daughters and wanted to know like she's afraid that her daughter's rights will be stripped from her, and you're the perfect person to answer these questions because you're so proudly Jewish and you're also like a real advocate for women's health. And you're so
I don't know about the
pro-choice.
women's health part. I'll speak to the first part. You have to keep your head above water. You don't have a choice. You have to focus on the joy and frame everything in how lucky we are and that we're fighters and we've been around for millennia because we're survivors, and you just have to keep strengthening your children.
They hate us because they ain't us, you know? It's like your son was the class president. He won a competition fair and square, and the only way to get back at him was to be hateful.
Well, that's
cruel.
The famous Kissinger. There was an interview where he was interviewing someone, what can Jews do to make people stop hating us? And the guy said, fail.
No, I'm not going to do it.
No, no, I'll take the hate.
And what about with our girls? You know, I was so happy to go to your fundraiser. Thank you for throwing it. It was actually a blast. And I loved your psychic.
You're so nice. Thank you for doing that. I don't have a psychic, guys. This was a witch that I met through friends of mine. No. And they said, this is my friend. She's a witch. And she immediately said something that I was like, wait, how would you know this?
I know you're not spiritual, but I have to say, I find it hilarious that you had to like make sure that everyone knows the truth. I do not have a psychic.
I don't have a witch
I have
either.
a witch.
No, I don't have a witch. I just met her once. And then
she was right.
She was right about something. And I was like, hey, do you want to come to this abortion fundraiser for choice? And she did, and she was sold out the whole day. She had like a line, a wait list, whatever.
She nailed it.
But I just wanted to we had an ear piercing studio, like boutiques by female founders, and I thought it would be fun to have a witch. But I'm not in consult with her.
I thought she was like your psychic.
No, she is not.
But she doesn't she work for like the FBI or something?
Yeah, she like finds bodies in dumpsters, but I don't meet with her.
Oh, not yet. Okay, go on about.
I think she has a gift for I think she has strong intuition, so she can pick things up off you. But I don't think there's like
obviously.
I don't know.
We're all intuitive. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I think I'm good at reading people.
You're good at reading people, but you're also good at like intuiting what, like what the people need as an artist. I know you don't want to talk about being an artist. You're like, fuck off.
No,
you're not an artist. I do not have a psychic. Back up. Okay, back to I'm reading your mind. Okay, so we're going back to the question, okay, about women's rights. What do you do to keep your head above water in regards to our girls,
Okay, so at that event,
yep,
is a friend of mine, ELLE Corman, who was very involved in Washington, D.C. abortion rights world, working for national reproductive health organizations. That's been her entire career for like decades. And after October 7th, she found a lot of her coworkers were very hostile to her as a Zionist and were posting horrible things about like Israel's committing genocide and all this stuff. And so these formerly progressive spaces, ironically, who have Jewish benefactors
and were built by Jews
and are built by Jews, are turning on us completely. So she left and started her own abortion access fund called the Red Tent Fund. And that was the beneficiary of our day. And we did very well. We sold 400 tickets at $40, and then there was a percentage of the sales, including the witches. So I think they netted a bunch of money, and I was very proud of that. And what she is doing now, I'm fortunate enough to live in a blue state, so anyone has access here, and I believe that will stay. But if you are in a red state, I know she has like 3 clinics where they're on a border. So like Missouri, they'll be like, if you go across the river, there's a clinic. So it's only 10 minutes from your red state on a bordering blue state, so that you have access to that. And they're going to expand. And I just really believe in her. I think she's a really good person. And I like the idea that there's an abortion access organization with like Jewish values, that where no one working there is going to be like attacked. I mean, I said to my brother, who's really involved with Planned Parenthood with his wife, they were on the committee for their big benefit at Casa Cipriani. I went last year, in the rain all the way down to the end of Manhattan, and I walked in, and the person who checked me in was wearing a keffiyeh, and it just felt like visually kind of an assault to me. Like I felt uncomfortable.
It's an assault because we witnessed footage of people wearing keffiyehs committing the most heinous crimes against humanity. I mean, It is an actual assault.
I know, and
it's not perceived.
I know, but I like it makes me, it's like
hurts.
A swastika to me.
It looks exactly like a swastika.
And what's really crazy is that I'll see people with just like a houndstooth black and white thing, and I have like a jump scare.
Me too. I have scarf PTSD.
I have scarf PTSD.
I'm like, I cannot
but I also
wait
have red
until
hat.
the winter.
I have red hat PTSD also.
Red hat?
Yeah, like MAGA.
Right, of course.
I'll just see a red baseball hat and be like, ew, enemy. And because I feel like it's very MAGA, bro, troll.
I can't wait
people
until
don't come at me. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Oh, the Israelis are coming at you with the MAGA. Whatever.
Yeah, no, they're really coming for me.
I'm sorry about that.
I don't care.
Good.
I don't care. I get it from the left and the right.
I get it from the left and the right also. Being a centrist is just like that.
I don't care.
Because when you're...
There's a lot of us.
It makes me feel like I'm right.
Yeah, the silent majority is right.
I just feel but I feel like I'm correct is what I'm saying.
Correct.
Like, I am correct that if I'm pissing the left and the right off, that I must be. I'm perfect.
That's right. Polishing our halos over here.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Okay, so do you think we should link the
Red Tent
organization?
I think that would be great
in our show notes. I do think that action does help.
I think it takes all of your rage and frustration watching the news, to answer your question, to turn it into purpose. And it's really, if you are going to have any media, even by osmosis on Instagram or whatever it is, rather than stewing about it and creating cortisol flush that's a carcinogen, why don't you channel it into something productive? And raising money for the Red Tent Fund could be great. There are parties I think forthcoming in Seattle and San Francisco and LA. And she even said, ELLE said she would come to your city if there's like a groundswell. Like someone from Atlanta had reached out. Like she's going to do these appearances and become more high profile. And the other key thing is if she can reach $5 million, then she'll be the biggest private abortion fund in America, and then everyone else has to acknowledge it in the industry.
She could reach that.
I think we could easily get that.
Yeah. Well, we'll link it here, and we'll be a part of that all together.
Yeah, everyone else in that world has to take notice, Kafias and all.
Amen. I think of you as someone who does advocate for women's health, because the reason why you originally said that you'd come on is because we were going to talk about your tits.
Yes. Yes. So the boobs have been a journey, as Daniella knows. I did the double mastectomy and the reconstruction a few months later. And then recently I was having like shooting pain in my left boob, and I would like grab my boob. You know, it was alarming. And it turned out I had this capsular contraction where the scar tissue was so bad that when they opened, so I did on December 23rd, this last 2024, I had emergency surgery to take them out. And the right one was fine, but again, symmetry.
Wow,
and
good
my
for you.
doctor, Jordan Turner, who's amazing, and I'm so comfortable with him, and he's gorgeous Jewish gay guy, so you don't feel like at all weird about talking boobs and dropping bra and whatever. But he said he went in there and there were 2 eggs, the equivalent of 2 eggs worth of scar tissue, like choking my implants. So I'm all good now.
Okay,
and like
good.
Hugh Hefner would rise up from the grave and book me.
Right, because they're so pretty.
They're like perfect now.
You have already said this on another podcast, but the scar, so I already know. Yeah. But the scar is underneath your boob,
Yeah, it's
is that
under
right?
teat. Yeah, under teat.
And you kept the nips. I didn't know that was even a question.
I kept my nips. No, you have to take them off usually if you have cancer, and then they have tattoo artists do like a trompe l'oeil areola.
But how did you keep yours?
Because my stage 0 was so small that there really was like no chance it had spread, and that it's like a tiny fraction can turn up in your nip, but it's negligible.
This is the BRCA gene that you...
No, I have CHK2.
Well, fuck me. I had no idea that there's another gene.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me. Can you...
So CHK2 is also melanoma and pancreatic, which is how my dad died, and I've had melanoma twice. And it's like all over my family. My brother has it. So, yeah, you have to be hyper vigilant, and it's probably good to get tested. It's also a Jewish gene. BRCA... So I did a full workup because there's just been a lot of cancer in my family. Wow. My mom's mom died at 47, and her sister was diagnosed with breast cancer in her late 30s, and it's just all over. And my dad's brother died at 46. So we just did all the MSK genetic markers, and you do a questionnaire specifically for Jewish people.
Oh, wow.
And they really go through your whole family tree and all this stuff. But because we are kind of inbred, we're very inbred.
Although you are half Sephardic.
I am, which
I think
actually purged me for Tay-Sachs and all these things. Your gynecologist, when you're pregnant, is like, are you Jewish? Yes or no. But if you're Sephardic, even half, that dominates. Then you can't have Tay-Sachs.
That's good. Me too.
Right. But I still paid $3,600 because they just said, are you Jewish? Yes or no.
Oh.
So I said yes. So then they did all the Jewish tests, and I didn't know that Sephardic people don't have some of these things that
we have
testing.
other things. I did genetic testing. I'm sure
I'm sure we have other
also.
shit. But if you're breeding, it's good to mix it up.
You gotta mix it up. It's actually why it's very...
But still marry Jews. No, I'm kidding.
I was going to say it's nice when there's like a little bit of intermarriage, some conversion. Like, really, we got to mix this shit up.
That's another thing is the Orthodox won't take the conversions. And I'm like, dudes, we got to get all the help we can. Like,
they won't take all the conversions.
Yeah, like
I have such a soft spot for
converts.
Orthodox Jews. Oh, no, it's not a soft spot for converts. I'm obsessed with converts.
Me too. They're more into it than we are.
But I actually am very spiritual, so I believe that their soul was always Jewish, and there's this whole part of me that you would have no interest in. But
no, but I love that.
I love that for you.
Jewish soul. No, I like that they found their way to us somehow,
and that they found their way to themselves. You know, that's how it feels to me. I just like
we'll take them,
and also the genes. Like, thank you for shaking up the genes, and it's just they're the best.
We need.
I just love converts so much. I'm just so grateful for them and allies. I'm just obsessed. Listen, where do we follow you on Instagram if we're gonna follow you?
Oh, just my name,
Jill Kargman. You heard it here first.
Not official JK or whatever people do.
And the name of your film coming out, when is it coming out?
It's called Influenced. I don't know yet. Tune in to my Instagram to find out release dates.
Well, then
probably the end of the year.
The end of the year.
Or early 2026. I have no idea. I'll be honest. I have no fucking idea.
Because
it's not even done yet.
Yeah.
So.
But how you had fun filming it?
So much fun.
Danielle.
Yeah. It was really a blast. We filmed it this summer for 6 weeks. You know, just shooting in New York is so lucky and so much fun, and
it's so sweet that you love New York so much.
I love it so much.
Born and raised.
No, I
born and raised, and you didn't
it.
even summer in the Hamptons.
Nope,
nothing.
No Hamptons,
and you still don't.
No summer as a verb.
Just no summering anywhere, but just summer. You're just
I go to England and Ireland.
Oh,
yeah.
Why?
We're Irish now.
What?
I have an Irish green card.
No, you don't.
Top of the morning to you.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really thriving Jewish community. Just kidding. Yeah, my husband has an office there, and we filed paperwork like 7 years ago, and it came through last year, and we go to Ireland a lot and London, and he has an office in London. So it's 50 degrees and cold and rainy in the summer, and I love it so much. I'm wearing all my leather jackets from the cast and my boots, and I don't fuck with New York humidity.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Okay, we were talking about how much you love New York and filming in New York.
I love it. I just couldn't live anywhere else. I love to travel. I don't want a country house because then you have to go there.
And it's so much work.
Yeah, I'm not like maintenance per se. I want to like be free and go places.
Yeah.
And we love to ski. I'm skiing this weekend. I don't like beaches. I don't sit on a beach. So that's another summer thing. That's why I like going to England or Ireland. But yeah, we love to ski. It's my only sport. Like, we're all shitty athletes except Harry skied for the United States.
I wear a ski suit every single day in the winter.
Really?
Just walking through.
Oh, that's your ski suit. It's like a one piece. It's like retro.
Any parting words to the moms?
For the Jewish moms who wrote those notes, don't worry. We're going to be okay. I know. Just like have faith that you're not alone. There's a lot of us, and we're going to stay strong, and let the haters hate. This is more about them. I think there's a lot of anger out there, and it's nothing new that it's directed towards Jews. Just it's been 5,000 years. We'll get through it.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Shalom. L'chaim, everybody.
Shalom and l'chaim.
Yeah, and the happiness is the best revenge here. Just keep doing you. Keep enjoying life. Have that meal. Raise your wine glass. Love the people near you. And just, that's how you do it. That's how you fight hate, is with like all of that joy, the Jewish joy. Filch every second.
Amen. I have nothing better to say. Goodbye. Thank you, as always, for listening to the Mom Curious podcast. My name is Daniella Rabbani. I am your host, and I would love to continue this conversation at Daniella Rabbani on Instagram. And if you'd be so kind to rate and review, share this podcast, I would be just really grateful. Catch you next time, every Tuesday on the Mom Curious podcast, produced by Hoff Studios. You can find them at Hoff Studios on Instagram as well. All right, have a great day.